Call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. All members are present. Approval of the agenda. We have a revised agenda. 7D, approve the library branch agreement has been taken off of the agenda. Is there any other changes to the agenda? Council, staff? No? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the December 21st, 2016 regular meeting. Have them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 21st, 2016 meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. This brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to address the council? Is there anyone here that would like to address the council? Is there anyone here that would like to address the council? Seeing no one, our public open forum is now closed. We now go to our reports and presentations. Park Board report.
Is it on? Yep, testing. Okay, the Park Board met on January 3rd at 5 p.m. That was yesterday. It was their first meeting of the year. The first thing they did was elected officers. And then we had some discussion on the arena fee schedule regarding the Hockey Association ice time sales. We were revisiting that agreement. It's been in place for some time. We received a report on a proposal for a way to provide internet campground-wide and plus the splash pad. So we talked quite a bit about that. Approved the purchase of new soccer nets. We received the request to develop an off-leash dog park that's come up before that has resurfaced, so we're going to be looking into that. We looked at the 2017 capital improvement project for parks. It's on the plan to do irrigation of the Sinclair Lewis Park Middle Park, which is like where between the bandshell parking lot and the boat access parking lot. That's the one park area that's not irrigated, which is a very highly used park. We also talked about the 2017 capital improvement project at the campground. We're looking at a 4-year, 5-year plan to replace all the water lines, and we were going to start that this year, but it may not work because in the spring we'll be doing the shoreline restoration. So we have a very small window after the ground thaws and the campers come to work. So the water lines may be put off or it may happen in the fall. And then we also updated the cost to submit to the county for the hazard mitigation plan. If you recall years ago when we had this storm, we got in the Stearns County hazard mitigation plan for storm shelter, possible generator for the water plant, and a couple other things, so that if we're in the plan, if we want to apply for that grant, we're eligible to do so. And we were updating the cost for the storm shelter construction. They decided to keep the existing meeting schedule. We had talked about possibly every other month in the winter, but they decided just to keep it a monthly thing. We did receive the update on hiring the campground attendant, which you're talking about later tonight. And then, of course, the shoreline restoration. And then also, I'd provided them with a picture of the proposed mural for the band shell and that fundraising project. So the action item we're going to have tonight is the campground attendant update.
Okay. Questions?
You were talking about where the dog park was proposed for when you were?
We don't really have a proposed location. A few years ago, we had some people interested in it, and we did a little bit of research, and that kind of faded. And now it's resurfaced with other individuals, so we're going to revisit it.
For the same area?
We didn't really have an area picked. We had a couple.
It was down by the old outdoor skating rink.
we did, that was one of the locations that we were looking at. And we'll look at that one again, and to see, costs, so we can give these people some kind of an idea of maybe what their fundraising efforts need to bring in.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Going on to EDA report.
The EDA met today. It was their first meeting of the year at noon. Of course, they elected officers as well. And then they did discuss a proposal for a sale of the racetrack property, so that is still ongoing. We did update them on the Cates Estates Drive project that the City Council had approved at the last meeting to the proposed apartment complex. And then they also reviewed the purchase agreement for the complex, and we suggested some items in it that we wanted to get back to them with a counteroffer on. And then also, we had a proposal on somebody looking at a piece or a split of the Unger property that's out on Highway 28 and 71. So a bunch of different things kind of noodling around with the EDA, and they'll get to the City Council at the time we require action on anything.
Questions? Comments?
No.
Okay. We have no public hearings tonight. That takes us on to our action items. 7A, approve resolution 2017-01, adopting rules of order for council meetings.
Right. Each year at the first meeting in January, we were required to adopt rules of order. So now is your time to look at that, the rules, and see if there's any proposed amendments. Most of them are always the same. Sometimes we might change something in the way things show up on the agenda. I think the most recent thing that we had done at one point, we used to have council comments at the end, and that was removed some years ago. And unless the council wants to put that back on, otherwise I've presented the same rules of order we've been operating under.
Questions? Comments? I know we used to have council comments on there, but since then, when that was removed, we made it available that anyone from the council that wanted to speak use the public open forum at that time. And I think that works
Seems
rather
appropriate.
well, so. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2017-01?
So moved.
I have a motion by Keith. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Any other questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve resolution 2017-02, appointing council members to serve on various boards and commissions, and also making annual appointments.
Okay, this is the, and the mayor will submit his recommendations, but I also have, for the bottom part, the fire department has recommendations as well for the fire chief, and I'll fill those 5 pieces in for you, and then if the mayor wants to give us the rest of them. For fire chief, John Egan is now done with being fire chief, and Steve Mortz is the recommended chief. Ron Moritz would move from second assistant up to first assistant. Jeff Bromanchenko would be second assistant. Dave Moritz would remain the secretary treasurer, and Wayne Senst would move into the training and safety officer. So a little bit of changing around in the fire department.
Who's secretary treasurer?
Dave Moritz.
Dave, okay, he
Booker.
stayed there, okay.
And Ron is second?
Ron moves up to second, and then Jeff Bromanchenko would become the new, Ron would move up to first, and then Jeff Bromanchenko would become second.
Yeah. So Steve is
Steve is now the chief.
chief, okay.
Okay. And as far as the other appointments, I didn't hear from anyone from the council that they wanted to change or anything, and basically I think we've got a lot of things going on in every committee and board right now, so I'm not recommending any changes. We'll leave Dave Thomas as acting mayor, Stan Tech will be the engineer, Tom Mayer will be the city attorney, Dave will be on the HRA board liaison, Diane Kelly will stay on the park board, Planning Commission will be Heidi, EDA will be myself along with Keith, Senior Center liaison is Dave, Airport Commission is Keith, CVB board is Heidi, Policy and Planning Committee will be Diane and Dave. Operations Committee will be Dave and Keith. Personnel Finance Committee will be Heidi and myself. The official newspaper will be the Sauk Center Herald. The depositories will be Minnesota National Bank, First State Bank, Central Minnesota Credit Union, the 4M Fund, Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, and Multi-Bank Securities. And then the fire department changes Vicki just covered. So is there any questions, comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2017-02, determining annual appointments with those changes in the fire department?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7C, approve resolution 2017-03, adopting rules for reimbursement by bond issues.
Okay, the IRS has these regulations, and so with the city having 3 potential improvement projects for 2017, no final decisions have been made yet, but we have the Cates Estates Drive and the water main loop. We have the Getty Street improvements are hanging out there yet, and then the racetrack utility improvements. And so these 3 projects have incurred expenses to date, and if we decide to issue debt for payment of costs for these projects, it would expect that if we were going to do all 3, we would probably need to bond for that, and we would want to reimburse ourselves for expenses incurred to date. And in order for us to do that and comply with the IRS regulations, we have to declare our intent to do that at the beginning of the year. Otherwise, we can't go back beyond 60 days and recoup any of these costs. And because Getty Street had that 6-month window and that type of thing, this is kind of a fail-safe if we decide to do the bond. So the resolution that I've attached has the procedures relating to compliance with that IRS regulation, which establishes the procedures relating to compliance with reimbursement bonds. So that's what this is all about. It just sets aside the possibility that if we do bond, that we can reimburse ourselves for expenses incurred to date. And that's resolution 2007-3.
Comments, questions? Something that we usually do every time we have the possibility of bonding for any construction, so. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2017-03, establishing procedures relating to compliance with reimbursement bond regulations under the Internal Revenue Code?
So moved.
We have a motion by Heidi, second by Dave. Any other questions, comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. We now do 7E, approve senior dining contract with Catholic Charities.
Catholic Charities Senior Dining Program utilizes the senior center to provide dining services and Meals on Wheels. If you require, years ago, we took them on when they left the Legion, when they used to be at the American Legion. And at the time, we entered into an agreement with them to reimburse us for extra costs we would incur for cleaning services and for garbage. And that was a reimbursement of $225 per month. And each year, they request that we renew that and enter into a new agreement. So that's what we're looking to tonight, is to approve the site use agreement with Catholic Charities for the senior dining program.
Questions? Comments?
That 225 pretty much covers the cost.
It covers the cleaning, and it covers most of the garbage service. But we already had garbage service before that, so we were, it covers their costs, yes.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the site use agreement with Catholic Charities for the senior dining program?
So moved.
A motion by Keith,
I'll second.
second by Diane. Comments, questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approve campground attendant advertisement and timeline.
I have in front of you the advertisement for the position of campground attendant, and then also the timeline we're looking at. If the council approves it tonight, then we would advertise the position between now and the 31st of January and accept applications in February. Then after that, we would We would review the applications and conduct interviews, and we'd hope that at the first park board meeting in April that we're ready for a recommendation to the council. So that's kind of the timeline we're looking at. If we can make it quicker than that, if we have some good applications, get the interviews done quickly, you know, it could happen in the March meeting, but that's pretty optimistic, so I put April on here. And we have a salary of $7,500 and the use of a campsite. And so that's kind of the way that we've done it before. And this would be an on-site position. They would live on-site. So that was a question that some people have, you know, do they have to live there? And we do have on-site, and we do have core hours, you know, the important hours that they have to be there, you know, versus, you know, they have to be there like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, and we try to work with them. If they need to be gone, they're gone the first part of the week. And we work with that kind of independently with whatever person that we would hire. So we're looking tonight just for you to approve the job description and the rate of pay, and also the timeline.
Questions? Comments? In the job description, it says includes use of a campsite if desired, but yet.
I think if desired could be crossed out.
That's kind of what I was thinking, considering we're gonna require them to be there, or to basically live on site. I think that should be taken out. Any other concerns?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the job description with that change and rate of pay?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave,
I'll second.
second by Diane. Any other comments, questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approved park board appointments.
The park board, if you recall, we had 2 remaining openings, and Amy Trisco has applied to fill one of those, and we still have 1 remaining opening. So we're looking tonight to get Amy Trisco appointed. It'll be January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2018.
Comments, questions? Otherwise, do I have a motion to appoint Amy Trisco to the park board?
Motion to appoint.
We have a motion by Dave,
I'll second.
second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. We have no unfinished business. We have no new business. And now it takes us to our consent agenda. Schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $665,582.47. And paid claims of $51,700.96. And I think those totals changed with the update of scheduled claims, right?
We have the updated claims actually that are $658,083 for unpaid and $57,112.79 for paid, for a total of $715,195.79. And the reason we brought that update with the end of the year, we have things that we need to get out right away.
Right. And then we have resolution number 2017-04, accepting contributions of $203.27 from the men's card playing group to be allocated to the senior center, $50,000 to from the Fire Relief Association to go toward the fire department, $3,000 from the Sauk Center seniors to be allocated to the senior center, $500 from Ron Leach and Sons Masonry LLC to be allocated to the fire department, and $11,185 from Sauk Center Youth Hockey to be allocated toward the arena. You know, I want to thank those 5 groups for their donations. And we have a gambling application for exempt permit request from Ivy's League Foundation for a raffle on April 28, 2017 at Next Door Bar and Lounge. Is there any questions, comments on the consent calendar? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Keith. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. We have no informational items. This now brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Heidi. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.